So because I've got to route some stuff behind the radio, the next thing we're going to do is run the wiring for the backup camera. So if you didn't order the backup camera with your CarNaviPlayer radio, then you can skip this next part. So, but I highly recommend that you buy it because it's very cool. So we've got this adapter or this light plug here. It goes on the left-hand side. To get to this, I removed 2 screws. One here, and I took the old plug out and I removed this, okay, the light bulb, okay. And the next thing that I'm going to do is so that I can run the wires, I'm going to follow this loom, so that I can run the wires, I'm going to take off this felt pad. So to do that, you want to pop out all of these rivets. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pop out all of those rivets, and then from there we'll have a better view of the framing behind it, and we'll start routing the wire. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back to you. I'll briefly show you how to do these in case you don't know. So you'll see a tab here. Just put a screwdriver down in that and kind of get it down to the base. And then kind of start turning. Okay, see how that came up, and then you can usually grab it. Okay, and then you come up at the very behind and pop it off. Or you can usually grab it with your fingers. Okay, and this did not break. So the way these work is that they go in here like that, and when they push in, it expands this. So you can't pull them out when they're flat. You gotta pull the top part out so that this can compress down and come out the hole. So that's how you do those. Just wanted to add that. And just put a screwdriver behind it. It's a little stiff. And just kind of pop it back. Okay, to expose that. The thing won't come off without it, so you've got to do that. Also, you might have to tuck this back a little bit behind this so it doesn't catch coming out. And then this whole thing, after you take off these sockets, 1 and 2, to take off this handle, then this whole felt pad will come off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So we've removed the felt pad, which will give us a lot more access to look around and see the wirings. Unfortunately, I have noticed that there is no way to go into here. There's no opening in the framing anywhere here. So we're going to have to drill a small hole right around where I've cleaned so that we can run the wires back here, over and down. And you don't have to do this. This is your choice, but this is the way that I am running the wires. You're trying to retain, a factory quality installation. So here is the backup camera lens. Okay, its wiring goes into a yellow video audio jack, which is very long, probably 15, maybe 20 feet. And the other end is the same video audio plug. This goes into the head unit. Okay, and then the other end of the plug on this unit is for power, and it is a black and red wire. And the red will go to the positive on the reverse light, and the black will go to the negative on the reverse light. Right in here. So the next thing we're going to do is remove the tail light. So now we're going to remove the tail light. So to do so, use a flathead screwdriver and open up both of these, okay? And then there will be a Phillips screw in each of these. Take a Phillips screwdriver and unscrew both of these, okay? Those are the only 2 screws holding it in. You also want to undo 2 push pins here and here, so that we can kind of move this a little bit, okay? Because what you want to do is you want to go in here, okay, and you want to unclip this pigtail so that it's loose, okay? Once that is done, the best thing to do is to take a piece of string and tie it in a knot. Take a piece of string, tie it in a knot so that you have 2 loops, okay? We'll run it behind there, let it fall down a little bit, and just give it one big tug, okay? I want to do this because I don't want to knock the light out, so I need two hands, so I can't hold the camera, but I'm going to pull that out, and it's going to be tough, but it will come out, and that's how we're going to take it out. Some people will use a trim removal piece to take it out. It's much more difficult with this. It's much easier with the string. So that's what I would recommend doing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come right back. There we go. You'll see here. And yes, I have to clean that big time. Whew, man. Here's our tail light. Okay. And you can see that this connector right here is our, it just twists to the side. And this is our reverse light right here. Let's see, it's the only one in the white part. So this is what we need to, this is the wire that we need to tap into. And I'm gonna take this bulb out. That bulb might be burnt. I'm gonna take that bulb out and use my multimeter, which I'll show you in a minute, and confirm which one is power and which one is ground. Just so that everyone knows, on this, the white wire is power. The white wire will need our red from this, and the black and white wire is our ground. I have verified by running a black negative from the negative on the battery, just to test, and then I checked for continuity between this and I'm just barely holding it, so it probably would be 0 if it had a better connection. So the negative is connected to the black. So that is indeed the negative. White is indeed the power. That's the wire we're going to plug into. This probably is the same on all Cruzes, but just keep in mind, if you don't have these colors, you might need to run a continuity test. But you should be fine using the black for black and the white for red for power. So I've drilled a small pilot hole here, and then I used a step bit to drill it to a little bit over a 1/2 inch. And because that's the size that we need in order to be able to get the plug through. So you'll see, and I filed it down too. See, it's barely just enough. I filed it down as well, so that it wasn't sharp around the edges. And this might even still be a tight fit. But just drill it enough that you can, just enough that you can get this stuff in. And that way this thing can be pulled up, you know? So this should be good enough. You just want to be able to make sure that it can get through, even if you've got to use 2 hands. You can see I've got this in now. So what you want to do is replace a light bulb, which I got to get a new one of. And then twist that into there. Okay, put that back in. And then screw this up. And then that'll be your backup camera. And then we'll take the other end from in here, which will be coming this way. And you can already see how this is going to come together. See that? It's gonna be a pretty nice fit when we're done. Well, this is just dirt. Be a real nice fit when we're done. Real nice fit. So I'll continue on in just a moment. Okay. So as we discovered, this light bulb right here is the reverse light. It has a black wire and a white wire. The black wire is negative, the white wire is power. So I took our red and black wires off of the backup camera connector, which is this one, okay? And I ran them along the original wiring loom, and there's a black and red, and I ran them to the black and white. And so red goes to white, black goes to black. For most people, I would recommend using one of these connectors, and the way these work is you just put the black wire in that loom, or in that part, and then you put your new black wire for the backup camera on this side, and then you pinch these down, and what that basically does is connects those two black wires, and you don't have to cut anything. You do the same thing with the white one with a different one of these, another one. You put the white one here, and then your new white wire here, close it down, and it will hold it there. It will stay closed when there's a wire in it, and that will give you a good connection without having to solder. Now, because it's my personal vehicle, I went ahead and soldered it because that's my preference, but you don't have to. So I ran the red to the white and the black to the black, and then I electrical taped it up in this loom. Now we need to reinstall the tail light. So I've pushed this loom and this grommet and that original connector back through that hole. And so now we're just gonna continue pushing this through the rest of the way. And we're gonna reinstall this grommet. Just kind of squeeze it until it gets past its flange. Until it's flat like that. And then basically, we just line this up. And I push this back in. Lining up the holes. And push it back in. Now I'm going to use the put the two Phillips screws back here and here, and then I'm going to close these. And then we'll continue running the wire. So we've got the taillight reinstalled now, and we're going to come back over here, and we're going to push this connector back in that we unplugged previously. Make sure that that latches. It's latched. This is our new wire now. Remember, that needs to run up to this red plug. Okay. So we're gonna find a good way to mount it. I'm probably gonna follow that black line. Just kind of lay it up there. It'll be sturdy enough. And I'm gonna just kind of put some of the slack down there. Okay. And I'm gonna, see this wiring loom here? I'm gonna follow this, and I'm gonna zip tie it and bring this up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that and get it zip tied, and then I'll show you how it's finished. Okay. So I have zip tied it. I ran up through there, And then I zip tied onto this loom and came all the way up with the other loom. Now this will be hidden by the felt thing. I went ahead and ran the video cord down before I zip tied it, so that I only had to use one set of zip ties down it. That keeps it as factory really as possible that I could think of a way to do it. And then the only thing left we have to do is we have to take this video line and run it to the radio. So we'll probably come through that opening, down the seat, underneath the trim of the left side, right all the way under the dash and up probably is how we're going to head on that. But I'm going to go ahead and now, since we're only running the wire to the radio and the power wire is done, I'm going to go ahead and suck this back in and replace the pin there. Replace the pin there. And then I'm going to put this felt pad back on and reinstall this cover and reinstall the handle that was right there. Once I do that, then I'll start running the wire into the car, into the head unit. Okay. So the video cord, the yellow cord, is just kind of tucked behind this padding. It runs that way. Okay. And of course, cable management is completely up to you guys, but I ran it. This part felt here pops out, and I was able to pop it up enough to get it, all the way behind. And so I put it all the way behind and then pushed that back. That brought it out at the bottom of here with this seat. And then I'm going to run it most likely down under, tucking it under the trim all the way to the driver's side. So when I get towards the driver's side, I'll show the route. Okay, so coming in through the trunk, I came down under here. Okay, make sure you go behind the seatbelt. Came down under here, pushed it all the way down in here, and you can see where it comes out right here. And so now I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to lightly tuck it under this trim panel all the way into the driver's side seat, or all the way into the driver's side under the trim panel. So just slowly work this in. Try to get it as deep in there as you can so you don't have it popping out. Just continue working it on through and work it on down. Okay. To the driver's side now. So basically, you just keep working it down into this trim panel, all the way down. This part started getting tight. I couldn't get really behind it. I found that if I put my fingers up from back here where there's more slack and slide my fingers down, I can get underneath it. And then once it's behind this area here, you can actually pull it, and instead of it going all the way around, it will kind of like beeline it up, which will give you kind of a much better area to go just kind of flat across the dash area to get it up behind the radio. So I'll probably use a zip tie or two to get it behind the radio, but that should work. And we should have plenty of slack. It looks like we got almost 5 feet left, so that's the way I'm running it. You're welcome to run it a different path. I just figured that would be the most easiest route to run. So